jam and they won't be able to get admission. But these days, if you score 150, 140, you have a chance of going or getting admission to university. And I don't know what we are going to call it, because I thought that as we are progressing, as we are advancing technologically and education wise, of course, we should be having cut-off mark higher. But the reverse is the case. 140, I think that 140 was, I think, in either 2021, and now we're doing 150. It's quite unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate, and of course, we have some other stories on the front page this morning of the Punch newspaper. Right here, you'd also see that Mark cautions Atiku Obi as FG Slams coalition chiefs. That's on page 2. That's concerning the 2027 presidency. Mark clash over Tinubu's reforms. APC, PDP chieftains join ADC in Borno, Gombe, Ondo, Jigawa. U.S. cuts Nigerians' visa validity to 3 months. That's on page 43. Customs EFCC step up airport surveillance against money laundering on page 34. 3 school children, Okada rider crushed to death in Oyo. That's on page 5. Adeola will run for Ogun governor in 2027. Aid confirms on page 18. And of course, going further, 40% of Nigerian children malnourished. That's from Kashim Shatima. And what is the presidency, the government of the day, doing about it? There was a school feeding program. I do not know how far about that. And last I checked, it was a very scary thing. I recall one of the videos I saw back in the day of the quality of food. And I was asking myself, do you treat malnutrition by a malnutrition trigger? No plan for diaspora voting in Lagos, LG poll last year. Yes, Lagos State is about to have their local government elections. Lagos used to have on the books 20 local government areas, and during the era of President Bola Tinubu as governor of that state, there was 37 more, and so looks like presently there are 57 of them. I watched the state's last year, the commission, the state's electoral commission chair lady. She spoke glowingly about how ready they are for that election. We've seen last year's election being one of the toughest in the past, and we hope to see this one being free, fair, and credible. And this one here, reps probe 5, 6, 7 petitions on job loss rights abuse nationwide. Akwa Ibom extends 20,000 naira monthly stipend to state origin corps members. Interesting. Plateau governor recruits 150 new agro rangers to secure farmers. 150. Franklin.
Yes.
150.
So you now wonder how they're going to share the 150, across the farms they have.
João Pedro Brace sends Chelsea into Club World Cup final. Abuja teachers suspend strike after weekend's 16 billion naira intervention. FG clears 20 billion naira passport debt. Issues over 3.5 million passports. I say Tunji Ojo is doing a lot of good work in that ministry. We hope that in the coming days, the racketeering in that industry is also going to stop. Because down here in the east, you still want to get a passport, you will still be required to come with somebody. And at the end of the day, you are paying like double the amount of the passport on the regular side for you to get a passport. One day, hopefully with the likes of Tunji Ojo at the helm of affairs, those corners are going to be cut off entirely. As Zamfara closes 13.6 billion naira gratuity debt owed retirees since 2011. 2011, really. Over a decade, yes? A decade is 10 years, right? Over a decade. Owing people who gave their lives to serve in the state. 14 years actually in the back. This is so unfair. And Zamfara is not going to be the only state that has been caught in this kind of mess.
Anambra was involved until the current governor came in and cleared most of them. There are several other states who are also in this, because we're on a culture where people put in 30 years of service to serve the state, and then when they retire, they find it difficult to get their gratuity. And guess what? What actually irks me so much about is that these very retirees will be asked to come for different verification exercises. You move from here to there, get under the sun, suffer. At the end of the day,
spend the little
it's not paid. It's quite unfortunate.
You know what actually irks me the most? The governors who serve for 4 years and have life pension.
They get life pension.
It's such a pity. Anyways, also on this Punch newspaper, Nigeria Youth Center to foster sustainable enterprises, says Minister. 2026 FCT poll, PDP rules out coalition vows to retain councils. Peter Obi's claims about students' death misleading. Auchi Poli. Unizik undergraduate dies while playing football on campus. 104 Nigerians get EU-funded postgraduate scholarship. Spate of killings in Nigeria still alarming. Anglican bishop. Reps propose 82 reserved seats for women, people living with disabilities in National Assembly. KB governor orders relief as flood destroys over 100 houses. Igbo criminals, not Fulani hurts men behind southeast killings. That's from our governor, Charles Chukwumasoludo.
Okay, that very statement he made when he went to have that very town hall meeting with people of Anambra State who are living in US and North America. Of course, yesterday it generated buzz on social media where netizens were reacting differently. Some persons who were questioning his data, but maybe by the time we get into the conversation, of course, we'll get to look at it in perspective for people to understand where he's coming from.
Besides, before you move from that, Franklin, did you see the person on that high table? It generated a lot of talks.
Yes.
And
yes, I saw a post somebody made. Somebody made a post asking why. Okay, what is actually amiss? Is anything happening? Why would that very person, be on that very high table?
this is,
But we'll talk about it later anyway.
that's 2029 in perspective.
Yeah, somebody was asking, is it about positioning for who is going to succeed Mr. Governor in Anambra State? But now it's politics. So politics, anything. Once you see certain things, you begin to permutate what that implies. Okay, so let's look at the headlines from Vanguard newspaper, and the banner headline here says FG battles IMF over report on inflation poverty. That's on page 8. The writers worries that such statement can turn the people against government. Notes body's advisory message often in conflict with its lending stance. It's quite unfortunate that sometimes when these very reports, when these reports come out and they are in favor of the government claim that they are doing well, but once the report is not in favor of the government begins to dismiss the report, saying that it has no validity, because IMF is saying that the government of the day has been able to bring about some reforms, but people are yet to begin to feel the impact of the reforms. That's what IMF is saying. Then, other headlines here: 2027 ADC will collapse in 6 months. Presidency. It has riders. Mass defections hit PDP, other political parties in Burundi. 97 lawyers to defend ADC. Mark Areboshola. That's on page 5. Interesting. 97 lawyers to defend ADC in response to the case which was filed by 3 persons challenging the constitutionality or legality of the interim national leadership of that very party. Then another headline says FG pegs admission age at 16 as VCs set UTME cutoff mark at 150. FCT administration Ireti Kingibe, Wike locked in verbal war. When would that end? Only time will tell. See that on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. US tightens visa rules for Nigerians. Limit validity to 3 months. Single entry. That's on page 8. They are going ahead to implement President Trump's reciprocity policy. Of course, he began with tariff war. Now talking about visa. According to US, of course, they are responding to the kind of visa that Nigerians issue to their own citizens. So this time around, if you are going for tourist visa, or if you are going for a business visa, of course, you can't get more than 3 months. That's what that story is all about. And then other headlines we can see on the pages of Vanguard newspaper. If you go to the inside pages, that's one of the headlines we would like to acknowledge. Look at this very one. It says commercial farms, State Fund sets up committee to select eligible varieties for intervention. FG issues over 3.5 million passports, saves 1 billion from reforms. ADC slams in over Nigeria's exclusion from US Africa trade talks. And this one says Senate reps row. Okay. Senate reps row over neglected House bills. Yes, the Senate President was able to clear that the Senate has not neglected the bills that were passed by the House of Reps. Rather, they work in collaboration. Monarchs, community leaders condemn abuse of masquerades in Igbo land. Would they hear? It's not in any state we heard that masquerade was charged to court. Okay. Dangote refinery reduced fuel price again. The ex-depot price is now 820 naira per liter. Another story says Uniport disowns woman accused of setting lover on fire. This one says US ends shoe removal at airport screening. Well, the very first day I got to an airport and I was asked to remove my shoe and my belt, I marveled. I said, okay, what for? I said it's for clearance. So US is ending that now. Reps move to increase membership to 415 for women's participation. This one says over 160 people still listed as missing after Texas floods. And why I postpone my resumption, Senator Natasha. Bill seeking peaceful transition of power passes second reading in Akwa Ibom. And the last story we are going to take here says 2027, if coalition presents Southerner, Tinubu will win. Kenneth Okonkwo.
That statement actually raised a lot of dust yesterday. But funnily enough, he wasn't the only one who has told that path. But coming from him as the campaign coordinator of Mr. Peter Obi in the Labour Party in 2023, it was, would I say, a deep food for thought. But let's see what the Guardian says before we proceed to talking about details of the matters on the table this morning. So on the Guardian newspaper, varsities fume as FG fixes 150 cut-off mark, 16 years admission age on page 6. LP factions differ on threat to expel Obi on page 3. FG issues 3.5 million passports, saves 1 billion naira from reform, says minister on page 4. 40% of Nigerian children malnourished, Shetima laments on page 4 as well. ADC rules out preferential treatment, bars presidential aspirants from public declarations on page 6. Oshun, Horiwa stage protest demands suspension of council funds on page 7. US holds multiple entry visa for Nigerians, reduces validity to 3 months on page 2. NAFDAC uncovers expired chemicals, additives worth 1 billion naira. Arrests 3 in Lagos on page 7. Reps seek to increase seats to 55 to allocate 10% to women on page okay, I'm not quite sure, page 3. Now we are talking about too much cost of governance, frankly. How about now?
It's the thing is, we'll get there because I believe that we'll have ample time for us to look at some other thing because in Nigeria, I think we have this very problem of trying to solve what we think is a problem by creating another one.
Another problem.
And it's not helping us. That's what I call symptomatic approach to solving issues. Because if you're going to solve a problem, the best thing for you to do is to look at the basis, go to the foundation, arrest the root cause, and then of course you'll be able to have tackled the issue, head on, other than looking at the symptoms. Okay, so let's see the headlines we have on the Nation newspaper. Opposition's early 2027 moves won't disrupt Tinubu, says Idris. That's the Minister of Information saying so. But we have to ask: are they actually distracting Mr. President, or the government of the day is distracting itself? There is a writer there that says President focus on delivery of dividends. Basiru, APC support in the North solid. Okay, this one says admission age pegged at 16. That's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. JAMB institution fixed cutoff mark at 150. That's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Then this one says Governor, bandits live among us in Castina. That one is like Odike Efife. Natasha fails to resume at Senate. That's on page 4. Senate House clash over concurrence on bill. You can see that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And quickly, let's see some other headlines inside the pages of the Nation newspaper. You are trudging on path of lies, deception. APC blast ADC. Dangote slashes petrol price to 820 per liter. Minister backs military's ability to defeat terrorism. This one says man intercepted with 653.9 million foreign currency to forfeit funds, says customs. Anglican bishop extols Tinubu for running citizen-oriented government. And this one says prepare for flood. Rivers tells residents welfare of academic, non-academic staff of tertiary institutions a top priority. That's the federal government saying so. And this one says reps plan 55 special seat for women, 27 PWDs for NAS. And I think these are the headlines we can take from this very newspaper this morning.
Definitely, from those headlines, we are going to go into the conversation proper. And of course, we are going to be joined in that lap of the show this morning by our analyst. Like I said earlier, Tony Mbeki is held up somewhere outside of the studio, but he is going to be joining us via the phone lines. And when that happens, we are going to start off by talking about what Governor Soludo said concerning the perpetrators of insecurity in Anambra State. Makanandi was nana maluma isinona aponama. So kaibido na Anambra before we get to the Senate and the proposals that have been made concerning more seats in the houses, and of course looking at what Kenneth Okonkwo said yesterday. Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. If you just joined us, you can join the conversation on Facebook. We're streaming live. Go there, join the conversation at Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You can also drop your comment right there. And of course, like I said earlier, we are starting from home, starting with what Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo said over the weekend. Reactions are starting to come in. He said Igbo criminals, not Fulani herdsmen, behind Southeast killings. And of course, the Punch says the Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has said the majority of kidnappings and killings in Anambra and other Southeast states are perpetrated by Igbo criminals and not Fulani herdsmen as widely believed. Soludo stated this during an interactive town hall meeting with Anambra indigenes in the diaspora held at the Metro Points Hotel in New Carrollton, Maryland, United States, adding that 99.99% of kidnappers and other criminals arrested in the state since he assumed office 3 years ago have been Igbos. Frankly, that engagement is not going to be the first of such in recent times by the governor, especially with the Vision November, of course, being right there. And of course, what would you say concerning that assertion that he has made, especially where we understand that there have been fracas between Fulani herdsmen and some locals in the past? But that is just one segment of insecurity, if you get it. There are also kidnappings. As a matter of fact, Anambra State between last year a lot had so many kidnapping issues. It was like a free market. It was like a free trade. You know, these criminals were coming in and out, like garbage in, garbage out. You pass a street, Nkwele, this minute, and you hear there's been a kidnapping occurrence there. In 30 minutes later, you go to Obunike, the story was the same. You get to what's it called now? Toll gate. It was just everywhere, every different parts of the state. But then Tony Mbeki is here now. Let's have him join the conversation. Good morning, Tony. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you perfectly clear.
Beautiful. I hope you're having a good day.
Not really. It's showering everywhere.
Not really, but you're going to be fine. I trust you. We trust you to be on top of the situation at all times.
Yeah, definitely.
All right then. We're starting with what Governor Soludo said over the weekend in Maryland, where he said that the bulk of the kidnappings and killings that happen in Southeast Nigeria are perpetrated rather by indigent criminals. Do you see any truth in that statement?
I've heard some comments by opposition members where they criticize Soludo for such statements made. The truth remains that we have to speak the truth because we have decided that at all time we must pontificate the truth. And that is what we are doing. So if we abdicate the truth and decide to say any other thing, then we know that we are not living to what we have chosen to do. Yes, the governor in Maryland, USA, said that 99.99% of kidnappers and other criminals arrested since he took office have been Igbos, not Fulani herdsmen, as often alleged. But he argued that blaming Fulani herdsmen is a misleading narrative, that many liberator groups in forests are actually homegrown criminal syndicates among Igbo youths. And remember, this statement made by Governor Soludo all the way in Maryland, United States of America, countered common claims that outsiders are destabilizing the Southeast, and he speaks directly to rising separatists and criminal violence linked to many groups. So the question is, what Soludo said in Maryland when he met Nigerians, especially in the Anambra in diaspora, did he say the truth? Or was he trying to play politics? And he has said he's not your kind of common politician. And you know what politicians do? They tread on propaganda. They try to tell people what that will suit them so that he will win election. You know, that kind of thing. That's not Soludo for you. And he is the chief security officer of Anambra State. He has every security brief. He has every security record. All the security agencies, their chiefs, they report to him. And he usually has the State Security Council meeting. And from the brief, and from the report, and from his own investigation, he has chosen to say the truth. Why are people blaming him? Listen to opposition political parties saying, look at what he's saying outside, that why is he watching our dirty laning in the public and all that? For crying out loud. He is speaking to the Anambra, not outsiders. But definitely it will filter into the ears of the outsiders. And he has chosen to say the truth. So let's quickly center every of our argument on what he said. Was it the truth or not? That's my position.
And that was the exact question I asked you when you came up. I said, is there any truth in that? Before you joined us, we were trying to recall what it was like in Anambra State before the formation or the launch of Operation Udogachi. It was a free trade. As a matter of fact, no one was spared. It was only a matter of who is going to be next. We lost the likes of Justice Azuka to incidents like that. He's just one of the many, so many of them unaccounted for. As a matter of fact, you get to your streets and you hear your neighbor has been kidnapped. It doesn't make it to mainstream media, but it was the monster that we had to live with here in Anambra State for a period of time. And so the big question is, if these people are among us, have they left us? Have they been placed where they should rightly be, which is in correctional facilities? I mean, of course, after due trial.
I think we must commend Governor Soludo for his giant stride in area of security. We all live in this state, and we can boldly say that Anambra State is one of the safest states in Nigeria. Presently, we are not talking about the past. Right now, I can drive safely from Oka to my house in Onitsha without this fear I usually have. And most times, we've seen it, club members, people who have merriment outside their homes do come back late at night. When last did we hear any major incident of insecurity or security breach? Yes, there was a time we had something of that nature somewhere around Orumba area, but it was quickly arrested. So we must give kudos. If somebody's doing well, why don't we say the person is doing well? As against trying to play politics. And I have said many times, you don't play politics with security. Because once you play politics with security, definitely it would all hurt us. So we don't want a situation whereby, in a way, to criticize somebody or try to praise somebody, we make less of what we have. Go to Delta State. They will tell you what they're passing through. Once it's 10 p.m. in Delta State, everywhere is deserted. And we've heard stories about kidnapping syndicates, even ritualists. And there was a time, there was some herdsmen that came somewhere in Enugu State. We have not had such incident in Anambra State. And look at people that you said that killed Justice and the law member,
Justice
Azuka. The people arrested, are they Igbos? Are they Igbos? They're Igbos. Even those camps the security agencies have destroyed, we've seen confession. In fact, there was a one criminal that made a confession about kidnapping a priest at part of the Bomonso. Is that man Igbo man? He's an Igbo man. And when governor comes out to say 99.99% of those we have arrested since I took over, he didn't say about any other government. He's talking about his own government. They are Igbos. And people are saying that, what kind of governor is this? Why would you go and say things like this? For crying out loud, he has chosen to speak the truth. And that's the position. Are these people, have they left us? The answer is that it's work in progress. One thing about security, you must keep vigilant at all times. You don't lose guard. Once you lose guard, they will come back. Okay. We have neighboring states that have security issues. So once you lose guard, they will just filter in from the neighboring states. So it's work in progress. And we can boldly say that we have security in a number of states.
Okay, so Tony, let me just add a dimension to what you said, because sometimes we like to play the ostrich. You know, we like to always assume.
I can't hear you, Franklin.
Okay.
I think your mic is off.
No, my mic is not off. So I say sometimes we like to play the ostrich. We like to always blame our problems on people who are not from this very state. And I want to put two things in clear perspective, because sometimes people don't get to understand someone's language or someone's statement before reacting. Because if you look at what the governor said, he said that the criminals are arrested. He didn't say all the criminals operating, the ones that have been arrested, because even we who are in the media, we even take record of people who are arrested. We know where they are from and where they are not from. So it's on record and it's undocumented where those ones who have been arrested are coming from. Don't forget that there was a time the governor also spoke about some of those criminals who were arrested in Anambra State, the state where they normally come from. That time he said most of them are not from Anambra State. People also came after him, but he was speaking based on facts available
on
to
ground
him.
at the moment.
Because even police, if you have gone for police parade of criminals or criminal suspect, even there as a journalist, you are given the room to ask them questions. At the end of the day, they profile them, they document them based on the state where they're coming from, their age, and their records. All these things are there. Now, what we should be talking about is what the governor said does not mean that there are no criminals who are from other places who are perpetrating, who are doing their evil in the state. But he's talking about those ones who have been arrested. Now, can we say that there are no headsmen criminals who are around? We cannot say that. But have they been arrested? If they have been arrested, of course they have been documented. So what we are talking about now is to expand the net. Do you understand? When we expand the net and then we get those ones arrested too, of course they have to document it. So I think people should just stop playing the ostrich, stop playing by emotion, but look at the fact. So there's no need for us to sugarcoat all these things.
Are you there, Tony?
I'm there. I heard of everything he said. I think I quite agree with Franklin. I think just like he said, governor is making statements based on those arrested. And we can't just say that we don't have criminals who are not Igbos, who are in Anambra State. For the fact that they have not been arrested, and for the fact that they have not been arrested, and for the fact that the records haven't proven so, it means that the governor is right. We have criminals from different tribes, different sheikhs, and when we talk about herdsmen, we also have herdsmen criminals. So we have all those people. Okay. So I think the most important thing is let us fix the fact, fix what the governor said. They are criminals. We have Fulani Marudas, Fulani criminals, Fulani terrorists. We have them. There is no doubt. We have all these men. The point is, the ones arrested, the kidnappers arrested, how many of them are Fulanis? The governor is saying 99.99%. It is 100%. It is 100%. 99.9. So I think the question is, if we think what he's saying is not true, let's go and ask security agencies, even Operation Udogachi, and even some places we have detention facilities. We can go to places and make inquiry and find out if what the governor is saying is true or not. Because if you protect people, if you say no Igbos in Fulanese, they will kill us more. We must call a spade a spade.
All right.
The governor has chosen to call a spade a spade.
Okay. Now we are moving away from that now, Tony, to look at what happened yesterday with the reps proposing or seeking to increase seats, the two assemblies to 552 and allocate 10% of it to women. Also, about 237 bills have been passed and 55 have been sent for presidential assent. The House of Representatives, I'm taking this from The Guardian, by the way, has proposed a constitution amendment to preserve or reserve 10% of seats in the National Assembly for women and 5% for persons with disabilities. Under the proposed framework, 83 additional seats would be created exclusively for women. That is 55 in the House of Representatives, increasing its membership from 360 to 415 and 28 in the Senate, raising the total number of seats in the National Assembly from 469 to 552. And so two things here stood out. The explosive number that is being considered here, 552 whole seats. Now we are talking allowances for them in the so many listed ways that they get it. We are talking their age, we're talking security details, we are talking a more expensive legislative arm of government. And then the gender thing that is being brought in. Why are we having more seats for the female gender? I mean, if you think that women as a matter of gender must get involved, what stops you from what you have, making space for women to get involved? I mean, what triviality are we intending to expend taxpayers' money on?
I think, Chisom, you call it triviality. But for me, it is not triviality. It's not at all. I think we must look at other countries and see what they are doing, and also try to look at our own country and see how women will get involved.
Okay.
The truth remains that women are underrepresented in Nigeria. I must tell you that. Since the advent of the Fourth Republic, one would boldly say that women have been holding below 4% of seats since 1999, despite being 50% of Nigeria's population.
I agree. Now,
coming back to what you asked or what you raised, I will simply tell you that in other countries of the world, like in over 100 countries, they have some form of gender quota. A way, maybe this can be a reserve seat, Lego candidate quota. There are so many quota systems. Let's take Rwanda, for instance.
Sorry, Tony, can I butt in there?
Okay.
I think I raised two issues. One, the increment in the number of seats we are going to have. I raised concerns about the cost of governance, because these also constitute the increase in cost of governance. Last I checked, it is a little too much for a country with the kind of population index and poverty index, out of school children, malnutrition index that we have. Shatima raised a concern yesterday that about 40% of Nigerian children are malnourished. And we intend to spend more on these people because they're not going to be coming there for free. And so the question I asked is not about, I don't have a problem with gender equality. As a matter of fact, I am one woman who actually does agree that women are really, really underrepresented. And if I have my way, I'd also like to represent my what do I call it? My constituency where women are involved. All right. So I think women deserve more space up there. But the question is, why not give them from what is existent? Why create more? Especially where we have the kind of duplicity that has also characterized our system, bringing about this explosion in the cost of governance.
I will simply answer this in two ways. Yes, when you mention cost of governance, I will agree with you that by the end of 2023, Nigeria has spent 2.618 trillion. as against what it should be. In fact, the country has spent 2.618 trillion allocated to the National Assembly over 25 years. So we have spent such a figure. That's a very, very staggering figure for running our National Assembly. With 2024, if you include 2024, it will give you a accumulation of about 3.132 trillion naira. And that will do a lot when it comes to solving the problem of our education, health, and even issue of security. But just like I was saying, the numbers for me are very big. I think the 10% quota for women and 5% quota for disabilities, I think that's a huge amount, and it will also add to the cost I have just mentioned. But just like I wanted to say earlier on, there are many countries that have done something like that, and I was telling you before now that in fact, if you come to Uganda, 5 seats in parliament are reserved for representatives of persons with disabilities. If you come to a country like Rwanda, 2 members of their parliament represent persons with disability. So if you go on, in fact, if you go to Tanzania, I think political parties must consider disability representation when nominating candidates. That is for Tanzania. If you go to South Africa, the ANC as a political party made it compulsory that disabilities and women should be given their own quota as within the party system, now not at the national level. So you should go on and it tells you quite a lot of quota distribution system. So if we propose 10% for women and 5% for people with disabilities, yes, it will increase the number and it will also add to the cost of governance. But I'm proposing that we can reduce the percentage so that we can make it even.
Okay, so let me come in here because I have another perspective because I need to establish the background first. Of course, it's not there's no gainsaying asking question whether there is need to increase women participation and PWDs in governance. It is given that is needed. PWDs need to be included because we're talking about inclusive governance in this very era. There is need for this. But while we're trying to do all these things, of course, we need to look left and right. Now, if you look at Nigeria, it is now composed, and the number of women who are in the National Assembly, I think it's about 4.1%. When you compare it to Senegal, where they have about 42.2% of women who are in that National Assembly. So that tells you that there is a gap that some African countries have left behind when it comes to women inclusion in governance. But this is where the issue is. Because if you look at what the House of Reps is proposing, having special seat reserved for women, and you look at the number which you have talked about, that is going to impact on the cost of governance. Now, I want to compare Nigeria with Senegal, because Senegal has a National Assembly that is composed of 166 persons, 168 persons. Then in Nigeria we have 400. I think that should be 469 persons. If you combine the House of Reps and the Senate, House of Reps 360, Senate 109, and then we are going to add to this number that is already existing. Now, if you look at Senegal, Senegal was able to make a law based on quota system, which provide that there should be this kind of alternation of candidate list between men and women, and it's been working for them. And since I think 2021, they've been able to increase the number of women in parliament incrementally on daily basis, and it's working for them. But for us, I think we should be looking beyond what has been proposed. We should look at what we can cater, because if we're going to copy from Senegal, for instance, Senegal has a parliament of 168 persons, and the lawmakers do not earn humongous amount of money that our own lawmakers earn. So if we're trying to draw comparison, we have to take into cognizance the peculiarity between these two countries, or peculiarity between Nigeria and other countries who have been able to embrace this quota system. Now, for us, I think we have to start from the foundation. Beyond the law that they are going to make a National Assembly, political parties, what are they doing? Look at political parties, the way they're configured. Look at the ESCO of political parties. How many women do you find in the ESCO? Now, what they have done now is that they have created the office they call women leader. So what stops a woman from even being the party, the chairman of a political party, or even vice chairman of a political party, another key position in that very party? What stops a woman from getting that? What stops party from imputing it in their own constitution that this should be configured in a way that women have to be represented, likewise those who are living with disability? Let's even start from that very foundation, because if parties begin to throw up women for elective positions, of course the electorate will have no choice than to choose from among women. But when they don't throw these very people up, of course, then we're in a long thing. So I think we should begin from foundation, other than addressing this issue from a symptomatic approach, thinking that once you increase the number is going to solve the problem. Rather, we can increase the number at the same time, create another problem for Nigeria, which has been struggling with poor revenue.
Are you there, Tony? Hello? Hello? Okay, I think we'd need to reconnect that call with Tony. I think he's back on the line. Yes, Tony, can you hear me? Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you got all the questions Franklin through, right?
No, I did not. The line cut off.
Okay, Franklin, could you please summarize your question?
Okay, so I think let me just take from this one. I said, since we want to increase the number of women who are involved in governance, basically at the lawmaking level, and then I don't have an issue with the way they want to increase the number of PWDs. There's no problem with that. Now, if we want to do this for women, why don't we start from the foundation, which is political parties? What stop political parties from enshrining in their constitution that certain seats in the NWC should be reserved for women? Let's even start from there and see how we can populate party executive with women, so that they can have a chance of being nominated as party candidates.
I think what the political parties have done so far, what they have done is to reduce the cost of nomination form and expression of interest form for women. We've seen political parties, big ones, they have done that and they are consistent with that. There are those that would also even waive a lot for women in a way to show support or to increase their participation. But situation where you will now allocate my constituency and say it's going to come, a woman must come from my constituency, I will quarrel with you. Because for me, I would think, why would Ihiala Federal Constituency or Anambra South Senatorial District be allocated to a woman, whereas Anambra North and Anambra Central are not? So if I have interest, I have been disenfranchised for the fact that the political party has allocated Anambra South Senatorial District, where I come from, or the Federal Constituency, where I come from, to women. So if you run it that way, it will cause problem. The way the National Assembly has proposed, I think it's much more better. You have women constituency.
No, Tony, I don't think you got the question. I think you are talking about different thing altogether. I'm talking about when you look at political parties, which is the foundation. As it stands now, nobody can vie for any elected position in Nigeria without coming on their platform, which is a political party. Now, these political parties, the people who decide who becomes a party candidate, they are members of the party. And these members of the party, most times, these decisions are made by the National Working Committee of the very party. Now, what about if you begin to provide certain seats for women in political party, so that they will be able to have a good say on how a party is run, on how party tends to move when it comes to choosing who flies the flag of the party?
If you are talking about political party alone, we have offices allocated for women.
Which is
we have the
women leader.
The women leader. And then also most times welfare of the political party, they allocate it to women.
So these offices, what do they command in party decision? These offices, women leader, and
what do they
welfare.
command in national decision?
Okay, now if you talk about there are members of NWC of a political party, but you will say the number is not. How would just a woman and maybe the other members, maybe other positions that are for man and woman, or for men and women anyway, but we are talking about the ones exclusively made for women, the position of women leader. So now you ask, what effect would it have? They form part of the NWC, the decision-making body of the party, and anything that has to do with women, they are giving that thought. But you may think it's not enough. Probably we try to increase the number of positions, like saying the national organizing secretary of a political party should be a woman. And remember, it boils down to the party constitution.
Tony, can I butt in here? We are talking. Okay. We are talking party, And we are talking the legislative arm of government as a whole. And so I am concerned to find out if there is another way out, I mean, of getting women officially involved by quota, still without this explosive number that I still insist is going to bring about a retraction in the system. I mean, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board, he said he wants to cut down the cost of governance. We know the moves he made. But with what the Senate is proposing, this is going to be a couple of steps back. We're going to be diving right back into the trenches of so much cost of governance that we are still trying to come out from. So is there an alternative way to get more women involved without creating more seats and, of course, not sidelining them to party politics?
There are no ways you can get women involved without creating more seats.
What about rotation? What about gender rotation?
If you do gender rotation in a democracy where women go, men go, no country in the world has advanced that way. I've just
is it a problem? Is it a problem if we do it first?
Tony, you can check Senegal. They are doing something close to it.
Yes,
even if they're not doing something close to it, Tony, is it a problem if we can copy democracy? Is it a problem if we invent a way that works for us?
I'm saying what you propose cannot work in Nigeria.
Why not?
If you say men take this time and women, we have had problem with zoning. Zoning is a problem in this country. That is why it's not in the constitution. We have where we say in Anambra, it is done of these people, it is done of these people. Yet you see people that will come and contest. At the end of the day, people choose or people decide. It's not constitution, it's not written anywhere.
So what do you propose?
If you put it down, see, I think what I'm proposing is this. What I'm proposing is very simple. That number, 10%, why don't you reduce it to 2% where you have 7 seats? It won't add so much cost.
Okay.
You have 7 seats allocated to women, and then 2% of 360 will give you 7. And then for the Senate, 2% of 409 will give you 2.18.
So where are they going to come from?
I know it's going to come from women constituency across the country.
So one geopolitical zone gets just one.
If you are talking about Senate, North gets one, South gets one, and possibly we allocate one to FCT. FCT has just a one Senate representation, and then possibly we can give them 2, and let that second person be a woman, and the other person can be a man or woman. So now you could trickle it down to the other side, where you have 6 geopolitical zone. A woman will come from, for the Senate, for the House of Rep, a woman will come from the 6 geopolitical zone, and Abuja will get 1. So why don't we do it that way? 7 at the House of Representatives, 3 at the Senate, where women will distribute it this way. North, we have 1. South, we have 1. FCT, 1. Then for House of Representatives, 7 seats for women. Where each geopolitical zone will bring 1 person. Abuja will now bring 1 to make it 7. I think this will work and it makes sense. It's more tenable than the proposal they are making. The numbers 86, that's so much. It will add to the cost. 3.something trillion in 25 years. That is staggering. I mean, these people, do they think at all?
See,
that's my proposal.
They should do the homework first, like I said. There are some issues regarding the way our National Assembly is composed. Now, we talk about National Assembly, we run bicameral system. And we have been saying that this is too much on the country. Why don't we run a unicameral system of legislature so that we can reduce number and at the same time reduce what it costs us to run this very institution? Let's begin with that very foundation and the issue of whether we are going to run a full-time parliament or not. Because people we have now as parliamentarians, it's like it's a retirement home now. If you have ruled a state as a governor, once you are done with your 8 years, of course you go to National Assembly, retire there as a senator. Whether you are productive or not, it's of no consequence. At the end of the day, you take your humongous salary and go home with all the luxury allowances and go. Let's look at this foundation first, address the foundational issues. Then when you're talking about creating seat for women, we can understand it. And like I said, if parties begin to institutionalize this very system whereby it's there in your constitution that if you are going to have a presidential candidate who is a male, the vice should be a female, then in the NWC, if you are going to have equal number of representation between men and women, let's say if you have 4 men as escorts, there should 4 women as escorts, so that when it comes to decision making, they will be on equal, they will be on equal balance to be able to say, okay, let's go this very way or let's go this very way. But when you have a woman leader, or maybe as a welfare officer, and out of 19 ESCO members, you have 2 women, what do you think they can scratch?
Okay. Big question there. What do you think can be scratched? And let's see how it eventually goes. Let's see what gives. Hopefully, we do not have a system where we spend more money on a certain group of people who are supposed to put things together in the legislature, in the executive, leaving very little for the common man that is meant to benefit massively from all of the schemes of the government to reckon a revenue. We take a break at this point, attend to a commercial. Tony, please do stay on the line. We'll be back in a bit, and of course we'll be going to the political circle where Kenneth Okonkwo made a couple of statements yesterday. They're having backlashes. Like I said earlier when we started, it's not going to be the first time that someone is thinking in that direction. Tony, we'll be getting back here to get your thoughts on that. Do stay.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM. The voice of the region, where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Good news and welcome to Winners Global Estate, Heaven in Ogwashuku and Nyocha Local Government Area, Asaba, Delta State. Home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, mamas and papas, Winners Global Estate is here with a special promo package for real winners. Don't miss out in this laudable promo 2025, Heaven on Earth.
Buy, build, live, work, and enjoy. Unlock your dream home of reality. Winners Global Estate is selling fast. 3.5 million, 50 by 100. No more 7 million. Promo price. For booking and more information, please call
081 64 40 4098 or 080 37 44 3787. Winners Global Estate. Your security is assured.
Winners and Winners Global Estate.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Absolutely, it's still the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. If you just joined us, my name is Chisom Chinedu. Franklin Ebuka is here. And on the phone line, we have our analyst, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki. Tony, are you still there?
I'm very much around.
All right, then let's go to the political circle where a lot of things have been said lately concerning the coalition. And yesterday, Labour Party's 2023 presidential campaign coordinator, lawyer, and activist, of course a Nigerian actor, Kenneth Okonkwo, came out to make a couple of statements concerning the ADC. He revealed that he has also joined the ADC, he's left the APC. He said a couple of things about conditions upon which a person can leave a party and what the constitution says about a person leaving a party. One of which stood out for me was where he said that a person does not necessarily need to put pen to paper to announce a resignation before he does. That one can resign in conduct, one can also resign by making an official statement on that subject. He also did say the most important thing he said yesterday was that he would support a candidate of northern extraction to stand against President Tinubu of southern extraction come 2027, because to him that is the surest way to wrestle power from President Tinubu and from the APC. He gave a couple of reasons to back his position on this matter. One being the fact that in the interest of rotation, that it is the right way to go. The idea of eight-year rotational system was never in the game plan originally, as much as it was never written anywhere in the Constitution. But in the interest of fairness and equity, it wasn't there until President Obasanjo got away with it, and then by virtue of conditioning, Goodluck Jonathan had to step in for another 4 years after the death of his principal Yaradua, and also how the government of President Muhammadu Buhari was also one that sort of encouraged that, but that has not always been the status quo, and it can be challenged come 2027. What are your thoughts in some of those, or on some of those?
I think I listened to Kenneth Okonkwo yesterday, and I don't want to use some words that may not be palatable. He's just learning politics. He's just learning politics. Some of us have been in this for past 30 years. Kenneth Okonkwo is a neophyte in politics. That's much I have to say, because he contradicted himself quite a lot yesterday. He did say if the South presents a Southerner, Tinubu will win. Not because he has the popularity, but he will steal it. That's what he said. Now, when the South presented, or when a party presented a Southerner, that the person who holds the power will steal it, especially if the person is backed by North. So now I want to ask Kenneth Okonkwo, is he trying to tell us that if a party presents a Northerner, someone who is in power cannot still steal it? What a contradiction. So votes are being stored in Nigeria as a result of where you are coming from. I understand that he said that even if the northern vote, a candidate from the north who may win the election, if the votes are stolen, they will fight for it.
That was what he said.
He said what?
That was what he said.
But that's not true. That's not true. See, if a government decides to steal votes, there is nothing anybody can do about it. Highest, you have protests across the country, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, the military will react, and then, because we are not in pre-1999, where you will say there will be a crack in the military, where military may even take over. Some of those things have been addressed. That is why it is even difficult for a military coup. These things have been decentralized. It is difficult to stage a military coup. It was something Obasanjo perfected when he came to power in 1999. A mistake he made in 1979 that allowed Buhari to come back using military coup. That cannot happen again, because the ways and manners of ensuring those things have been decentralized, where one brigade or whatever will have such capacity to stage whatever they want to stage. Now, I want to take Kenneth Okonkwo. Any government in power that wants to steal a vote with the present political system can still do it, irrespective if the person is from north or south, as a political party may present. It has no relationship. So that is one. And secondly, I saw that bitterness in him when I was watching his interview last night. He has this bitterness against P2B for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm aware that he called P2B a lot of names before he left Labour Party. He's indirectly pleading to Atiku, I want to support you. All this why he left Labour Party and left P2B, nobody has called him. His interview yesterday that he will support a northern candidate, he will support a northerner, and look at the condition he gave. Only if that northerner will have the northern appeal, that the north will vote for the person. Who is he referring to? The person is Atiku. He's indirectly looking for a job. He wants to work for Atiku. But he can't just want to work for Atiku in this disguise. He can always come clean. People that have worked with Atiku have gone to him, Atiku recruit them, they work for him. But with his political calculation is wrong. Anybody that wants to still vote like the way we are now, The president has so much power. He is the commander-in-chief. And not just that, he appoints INEC chairman. All the institutions, federal institutions in this country rest on him. He sits on them. He appoints most of their chairperson. He fires them, he hires them. And they want to tell me that if Atiku becomes or comes out as the candidate of ADC, and then if he's rigged out, and then what will happen? Nothing will happen. Nothing. Kenneth Okonkwo is absolutely wrong. That is one. And secondly, when he says that I listen to his calculation, that they have the numbers and all that, anybody the North backs wins presidency. Take it or leave it. Not have backed some southern candidate in the past, and they have won. They backed Obasanjo in 1999. Obasanjo won. They backed Jonathan in 2011. Jonathan won. See, it's a case of who did not back. We've seen them backing southern candidates. If the North today decide they will back someone like Peter Obi will go to victory. I think his analogy should be, would he not back Peter Obi? That will be his analogy. And I was expecting him to render a strong political discourse on that. That he did not. He was coming up with a kind of a gimmick political narration that vote stealing has to do with the candidate involved. If the candidate happens to be from the North, that he will fight for, the North will fight for the vote being stolen. I'm just telling Kenneth Okonkwo, something of such will not happen. He's coming new into politics, and I don't know where he's making all this political conjecturing. He's becoming a political jester.
Okay,
coming up
Tony,
with a number of calculations.
Tony, I want to move away from Kenneth Okonkwo because watching him yesterday, I was asking myself, was it not the same Kenneth Okonkwo of 7 months ago? So, like what you say, it appeared that he has chosen to realign ahead of 2027. But I want to go to what David Mark, who is the interim national chairman of ADC, said. He said that the ADC has no preferred aspirants ahead of the 2027 presidential election. And I read one report yesterday which was claiming that Atiku told some group of politicians that he's going to vie for presidency in 2027. And Mark said yesterday that what they are going to do is that they're going to ensure that they have a transparent primary where everybody is going to go and test their mettle and see if they are going to become popular and win the mandate of the party members. Now, if this becomes the case for the ADC, would that be the best way for them? Like, would you say that the best thing for them, if they are going to mount the challenge, is for them to go for a primary election, knowing the way primary elections are being conducted in Nigeria, even when people make promises that it's going to be transparent and what have you not? Primary election in Nigeria is like a bazaar where you test your financial war chest. That's what it means if you're going to go close to victory or not. So if ADC chooses to do a primary election, whether it's going to be direct primary or indirect, do you think it's going to serve them a better purpose, knowing their vision to dislodge APC in 2027?
You don't expect ADC as a newly put together party, because it's not a new party. The coalition party, you don't expect them to come and tell you that we are going to zone. Before you talk about zoning, you must have had consultations, discussions, level of parley, agreements. You must have all those things. Yes, what they should be saying now, they are saying what they should be saying now is going to be open, test their popularity. But it doesn't mean there cannot be further consultation, further discussion, and all that. Just like I said the other time, the mood of the nation is that the South should complete this term. That is it. So I don't want to just go deep into that. But the point remains that if they choose to run a free primary where everybody takes his financial war chest, you know very well Atiku will still bring out the dollar he usually brings. Amechi may bring some or may not. Peter Obi will not bring a kobo. And if he doesn't bring a kobo, that means he may not win the primaries. And if he doesn't win the primaries, it means that he's going to leave the coalition. And if he leaves the coalition, it's a victory for Tinubu.
Okay.
But then if possibly, whichever way they go about it, either by consultation and then decide that they will back a Southerner for a 4-year term with such agreement, still, why not? And definitely, Atiku may be willing to back Obi if Obi becomes the candidate of ADC. But is Obi willing to back Atiku if Atiku becomes? That's the problem.
Okay.
So they have a huge problem before them, but how they navigate it, how they manage it, will be a kind of a political study in the future.
You know, I often have said that the absence of war is not the presence of peace. And so the absence of a fracas within the ADC at the moment doesn't mean that Odesi, what I go for. So in the coming days, we see how they manage all of these things. Interests, and whenever they clash among politicians, we know how it normally ends. But fingers crossed, there is so much hope in the ADC. A lot of Nigerians are speaking favorably on their side. Let's attend to a commercial, Tony. When we come back, we would quickly look at JAM's recent, revelations. 16 years cutoff or benchmark for people going to the tertiary institution. Are we going to stick to that? Are we going to obey that? Are we going to have institutions even buying that? What kind of consultations were made before that was settled for? And 150 cutoff mark out of 400. Keep it locked. We'll quickly look at that when we come back, and of course open up the phone lines right after that. Do stay.
To Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Except you build a house, the builders building bed.
Crusade, crusade, crusade. Yes, so this one a mega once in a lifetime kind of crusade. Oh, House of Sublime Properties Limited, the reigning real estate company known for zero problems, invites you to this land crusade with theme Gospel of Lands Crusade. If you have bought land anywhere and you are experiencing any problems or challenges, this crusade is for you. Highlights, connections, business deals, relationship meetings, first class entertainment, plus many other things. Date Sunday 20th of July 2025. Venue Night of St. Christopher Hall, All Saints Cathedral, opposite Red Cross Onitsha. Time 12 noon prompt. Come and get your breakthroughs. Get fee free of charge.
For inquiries, call Bishop on 081 36 40 4171 081 36 40 4171.
Come one, come all. House of Sublimes Properties Limited. Your peace of mind.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, it's still the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. I'm actually trying to get across to Dr. Tony and see if he is still able to join us, as he's actually got some engagement this morning. Franklin, let's quickly touch on that matter concerning the JAM cutoff and of course that age for students, 16. Do you buy that? Is that supposed to be done in the first place?
Well, should I say that I don't want to dissipate my energy on the issue of age, because the Minister of Education has said that it is non-negotiable. That means it has been sealed. Don't forget that.
Are we going to have people obey that? Who is checking? Okay, Johnny is back on the line.
I will get to that. Don't forget that before he came in as the Minister of Education, his predecessor actually said that our benchmark should be 18 years. It was even debated. And then when he left and we are having new Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausan, he said it's going to be 16. And we know how that debate went on. It even got to the point when people were trying to purchase their form for UTME. We know how JAM came in and said, unless if you are a special student, of course, that's when, if you're a special student, that's when we can allow you to purchase JAM form and sit for examination if you are 16 and thereabout. And at the end of the examination, the result came out. JAM released the result showing that the number of persons who are under 18 who were able to make the reasonable pass mark was very, very insignificant, and that is number one. Then the issue of whether people who are 16 years of age should be admitted in university. I think we have some time ago we talked about it, saying that yes, government is saying that it's the issue of maturity and preparedness to handle the stress of university education. But like we said that time, that in as much as there is this very correlation between age and maturity, but it's not always the same. There are people who have special ability, people who have special talent. After all, we have seen people who acquired PhD in certain areas of education, even at the age of 20, because they have special talent in certain kinds of subjects. We have seen that happen. So, for the fact the government have recognized that people who have that very special skills or who have that very special talent, of course, they are going to be accommodated. So let's be on that very side.
All right.
Then let's talk about the cutoff mark. Like I mentioned initially, that if you cast your mind back to years before now, you will see that we've been on this very downward slope, where the cutoff mark has been going down. And like I mentioned, that in 2000 the cutoff mark was 180 for both universities and polytechnics, but this time around we have 100 and 150 for universities and then 100 for polytechnics. So that tells you that the level of success we have recorded, when it comes to number of persons who have been able to score good, made good scores in UTME, that has been on downwards, and that is now reflecting in what JAM sets as the cutoff. And don't forget too that this 150 is even an improvement compared to what we have in 2021.
All right then, Tony, are you there?
Huh?
Yes.
I'm there.
So quickly touch on that. What do you have to say concerning all of those mark here, mark there by JAM?
We've discussed issue of JAM extensively, and we have made certain proposals, and we have made far-reaching proposals. I think 150 mark, and then I must say congratulations to one Chinedu, who is from Anambra State, who scored the highest number. I think positive remarks have come across different parts of the country about Anambra State. Many have been trying to say, yeah, it was foundation laid by P2B, and then some are saying Soludo consolidated it. So it's a good thing that Anambra keeps coming on top each time there is a national examination. Congratulations to one Chinedu. Then coming back to the issue of JAM, the 150, it tells you quite a lot. And we've seen certain issues raised by some people as far as this issue of JAM is concerned. Some believe that the results they got are not their results. Some believe that they could have done more, better. Some felt that they were denied some opportunities because of one thing or the other. So for now, people have been saying that the results you have may not really be the true reflection of the performance of these students. And we are saying, why don't these results be real-time results? As you are ending your paper, definitely going to say, the one we have JAM, we take so many times before they bring or complete the results. It doesn't go well with me. I've taken CBT exams, and I saw my score immediately. I dropped the examination without waiting for anybody, and they can go such a way so that you can also test your level of intellectual capacity. So look at 150 out of 400. What does that tell you? It shows that Nigerians are not intelligent, Nigerians are lazy. That's the impression anybody can make. So bringing down the cutoff mark to 150 just allow people to have admission where many believe it wasn't their performance. Why can't we make this thing to reflect true performance of people by making the results of the real time? Why? Invest in infrastructure. You can advertise for that. Government can support you. There are so many people willing to invest in infrastructure to ensure we have credible JAM examination. On the part of our students, we know many of them have been doing TikTok. They have been doing social media, have eroded and quite a lot of things. Many of them are not even capable. So you can't just blame JAM alone. Students have their own problem. Many of them don't read. They don't study. They believe that they can easily, the magic centers are everywhere. And they believe that there are ways you can do it. You can score a high mark, and then before you know it, you start studying medicine. What is our future becoming? So these are my reservations. These are my concerns. JAMs will do well. The students on their own part, by the time they know it's tough, is once you are dropping the pen, they have no business to go and study than to wait or look for magic centers.
All right, then. This is the point where we get to open up the phone lines. Thank you, Tony, for being here so far. I think we're going to let you be at this point. Probably call you back in about 20 minutes. Would you prefer to stay here to listen to what the press people have to say?
I prefer to listen through without even getting back again.
Okay, let's call back. Let's decide on that. Right now, you can put a call across to 0803-221-697, 0803-827-6694 to join the conversation. Now, if you can't keep this within the 1 minute 30 seconds mark at most, go straight to the point. What is your name? Where are you calling us from? Let's hear you. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Could you please turn down the volume on your radio set?
I'm going out from there.
Okay.
You have media Franklin says, how far? I've had my chief, Mbeki. Yeah, he's talked so well this morning. Fantastic presentation, except when he was talking about women. I don't know where he was coming from, but it looks like he's been affected by patriarchy. My own point of view. Now, political parties must be made so when they are going into primary, present equal number of contestants that is at least equitable. Yeah? If you got 10 men, for example, going, or 10 party people going, that is party primary. If it's 10 members going, then we share it equitably, like I said. 5 men, 5 women. And women must not be made to pay any registration fee to collect form. Then coming to my own friend before. Senator Okonkwo, this is well, be that as it may, I trust your double speaking. Well, I'm even surprised you're now with those who say, go steal it and run with it. And then they run with our votes. And then you're talking about another person coming to run with our votes again, so it should be Atiku Abubakar. Yeah, but let me tell you, my dear man, Abubakar is not strong with our votes. We're not going to give him the opportunity. I don't know what you got against your brother. It will be the bitterness that you portrayed the other day we were talking. Is unbecoming. Terribly unbecoming of a politician, so to speak. That was to start people. Chief Mbeki put it nicely. You are a political new fight. Yeah. Actor, you're just an actor. And politics is not all about acting at all. You may learn to lie, the bottom line. You are dealing with human beings, not stooges, not pigs. Obedience will not allow you, my friend. I will not, personally. I'm obedient to the call, okay? Mind your language, Mr. Okonkwo. Have you people a good day in Onitsha?
And you have a good day too. You too can join the conversation if you can. Please, straight to the point. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
No, thank you. Sunday from Lagos.
Go ahead, Sunday.
Yeah. Based on what Senator Okonkwo said, politically it may be correct. You know, based on the number of people not. But let us tell us the truth. This is the son of the house, and you understand? Anybody who will go to what that particular zoning formula, I think it's not correct. So I think let it be either a mix or people, because maybe what is 8 years? How can another come and change this another 4 years? In as much as the world they say that they are keeping 4 years, 110. But I don't think it's normal. So let's choose between Mbeki or people. Thank you.
All right then. Hello. Good morning. Are you there?
Franklin, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Nwa Chinedu.
Good morning.
Chief Doctor Bim Tony Obona, anywhere you may be, remain blessed. I am great name, Ezia Pakego, hitting your airwaves from tomorrow. Yes, let me make a assertion. Whatever political permutation anybody is doing, that person may not be getting it right. Anybody permutating anything with this Nigeria constitution on the powers of the presidency with regards to election will be disappointed in the end. Following what happened in 2023, I am placated, I am destroyed to the extent that it has come to my notion and conclusion that the president, once he is desperate, has the power to appoint the INEC chairman. Whoever that is going to work for him must win that election. There should be politic reform on electoral reforms. Electoral laws should be reformed. The president should appoint the electoral, the INEC officers or at the INEC chairman for things to go right. The powers of the president should be set up the power of electing the electoral umpires in this country. The legal section should be taken away from the presidency, not hiring and firing them. With that, bring the hands of the presidency. We are not going to get this correct in this country. Nigeria will be wobbling and fumbling. The masses' powers have been taken away from them. Only for one man, the INEC officer and the judiciary, to do what? To dictate. And they will fall in line and dance to the tune of the presidency. We are nowhere in this country under this constitution and electoral laws. Thank you very much.
All right then. Let's hear what you have to say. Go straight to the point. To this in a minute. Good morning.
Good morning, the parliamentarians.
Good morning.
You are blessed, all of you there.
Thank you.
Okay,
go ahead, please.
I proceed. You see, there's something that Dr. Olisa Mbeki said, which is a fact truth. No matter the group of AGC, that's a problem P2B will have there for that primary. See, Atiku is ready to spend. Amochi is ready to spend. Can P2B do that? P2B is supposed to know that he himself as a person is supposed to step up and do the needful. This time around, you see, people they focus on that thing you do, they will see it. Not every time you are talking about you are not giving money, you are not spending money. How can you win? That primary, you can never get anything unless you spend. So P2B know, he's supposed to know that this time around, he needs to do the needful. And people are focusing on him. People believe in him. Let him do the needful. So every time you don't need to spend, you don't give money, don't do this. It's not this time around. Let him step up. I rest my case here, you are blessed.
All right. If you can do this in a minute, let's hear what you have to say. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chisom. And Franklin. I'm Emmanuel calling from Onitsha.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Well, where I want to speak on is what our governor said in America. Well, he said the truth, but I think I faulted him in some areas. Where I faulted him is where he said that every criminal adoption, kidnapping, that criminal activities in Anambra, 99.99% in Igbo, and everywhere in Southeast. Because I heard you say that. No, you should have this. Talking of Anambra State, not any group where we know what the foreigners are doing there. Even in a boy. Well, kudos to this is very Governor Wilford. Because if your assumption, take this office, foreigners when stop killing their people. But in Enugu is not a part of Southeast. So you should have been saying of Anambra State, yes. I will understand it. Yes, we use that to remove foreigners inside our bush. They started doing bad things instead of protecting people. And in every Igbo land. I said no, it's not true. Fulani herdsmen is wreaking havoc in any city. Thank you very much.
All right then.
So let me say something, because I said this thing before that I prefer, before we begin to tackle certain things, get to that particular video the governor where the governor made that statement, or even the transcription. You will see where he said 99.9% of kidnappers and other criminals arrested in the state since I assumed office 3 years ago have been Igbos. So I don't think that extends to making a statement that covers the entire Southeast. He's talking about the state where he's the governor.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
My regards to you, Ebuka and Olisa Mbeki. Monday Johnson is my name, and I'm calling in from Onitsha.
Go ahead.
What the House is proposing to reserve some number of seats for women, I don't think I go into that idea, because women, in as much they are in the same house, women will remain the minority. And I believe personally that these women who are playing politics in Nigeria have something in them that will help in providing solutions to the problems we have in this country. But most times, the rule of the house is that the majority will always have their way. So those ideas and wisdom they have been, stifled because they are minorities. I will rather suggest and propose that they should propose for women to have a separate house, a separate assembly. No matter the name, the number. Let them have their own separate, and across all the states, let them also have their own, separate house, where they will gather and deliberate and then push their own suggestion across to the executive. That is my own suggestion. Then on the statement made by the governor of Anambra State, that statement, when I heard it, it did not actually go down well with me. Because if you go around Franklin, there was something you said there. Go around all the prisons in Anambra and all the cells, police cells in Anambra, you will not see a single Fulani man in there. Go there and make your analysis as a journalist. You won't see a single Fulani man in any police cell in Anambra. So please, that does not mean that criminality is domiciled in Igbo land or Anambra. I don't actually like that statement at all. Good morning.
All right then. Franklin, did you ever say that criminality is domiciled here?
The thing is, I'm sorry that I have to go this very way to talk about this, because I keep on saying this thing. We like dodging the fact. We like dodging the fact, or we like dodging to face the reality, especially when you talk about anything that has to do with we versus them. We always tend to, make ourselves feel as if people are oppressing us. Okay, let me just call a spade now, so that we understand this thing. Because you said I'm a journalist. Do you know that in this Anambra state, there are many community dwellers who know where gunmen take refuge? They know where they stay in the bush.
Some give them information,
and they will tell you that, we do buy things to go and give to them. They are harmless. If you like, I can take you to where they are. I'm telling you statement of fact that people we have met in the field have told us. I'm not telling you what not. They're telling you that these are people. They are protecting us. They are fighting for us. We know where they are. We buy gifts. We give them. They don't harm us. If you want, we can take you there. It's a statement of fact. Now, and I say that what the governor is saying, was speaking based on the persons who have been arrested. There are criminal elements who are not Igbos, who are perpetrating evil in the southeast and in Anambra state, but they have not been arrested, right? So he's talking about those ones who have been arrested. Based on the profiling they did, they found out that 99% of them are from this very area. Now, I now say that the issue is how do we now expand our net? Let's say if we hear that there is a case of attack somewhere else, we expand the net and ensure that anybody who gets to perpetrate any crime is arrested. Let's now see if we'll now be able to provide people who are from other side, who have been cooperating this issue happening. As we're speaking now, Ekulobia is on fire this very morning. As we talk now, Ekulobia, there were gun attacks
Gunshots, yeah,
in Ekulobia. And as I'm talking to you now, I can see the video of somebody who was killed. For now, we don't know actually the cause of the gunfire in Ekulobia this very morning. But we should stop playing, we should stop playing the ostrich. You know what ostrich does? It's a danger. Come on, Gaboboso, or Jenna Fifia, Zoe, we should stop doing that kind of thing.
Unconfirmed report also have it that 3 people were shot: a keke man, a man inside a chemist shop, and a passerby, and also a security officials, AVG vehicle burnt down.
This I just told you.
Unconfirmed reports.
What I just said about residents telling us that they know where these people. There was one time we were in Atikulobia. This kind of thing, nobody knows you now, and you just climb Okada now, and we're discussing about insecurity, and people will tell you things.
I told you about what was being said the other day about road to Oka, right? About once it gets dark, that there are car snatchers on that road. And nothing has been said about it by the police operatives or mainstream media, but this is what the drivers say.
That's one that happened last week. The guy was caught. The guy who was caught is so fine. He was caught. A car driver, the commercial bus driver was driving, and he picked 2 of them along the road. And while the vehicle was going, while the vehicle was moving, he asked the driver to slow down so that he would do his operations. He took some money from them, took their phones. But the driver, being that he was a courageous man, he had to drive into a filling station, came down from the vehicle, and was able to grab one of them. One escaped. The person who was grabbed, who is he? Abolo Adamu Nkoji Abo Abdullahi. Now, brother, see, so the thing is, we know how these things are. And when people who are not from this side who are doing that. But when somebody is speaking from fact available,
let's not sugarcoat it.
We shouldn't sugarcoat it.
Okay, can I bug on Facebook, Udala Radio 104.7, to see what you have to say?
Okay, so let's see some of the posts we have here on our Facebook page. Let's see your reactions. So we have this very one from it's coming from Dr. Mrs. Molebra from where she says, we have all it takes to develop this country, but it's held ransom by some greedy and selfish people. Good leadership is a luxury in Nigeria, a country where evil has been allowed to be destroyed and ravage our polity unchallenged. Good leaders don't take advantage, intimidate, or diminish their subjects. A lot nation is one in which hungry and jobless people blindly support those responsible for the agony and misery. We will keep speaking out and telling the truth. Okay, some other posts we have here. Let's look at this very one we have here. Lots of comment here, so I will begin from the ones we can see first. This one says, okay, it's from Emmanuel Chiade. He says, I concur with Mbeki. Indeed, Kenneth Okonkwo is a political neophyte and a desperate desperate job seeker driven by transfer aggression. Looking at today's political dynamics, I think I respect Atiku because he has remained pro-democracy, but I respectfully disagree with him, and he must be encouraged to see that nation building has made zoning principle inevitable, though both are inseparable. Hence, he must be statesman and support zoning ADC. Okay, he said lots of things, so I have to cut it short here. Mazi Nwuriechi Kwadoromusinachi says, I don't buy the idea of Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo because southern region of the country has not yet completed their own tenure, and surprisingly, I don't know why Okonkwo has been so against the Igbo candidates to emerge as a president of this country. He has been supporting and causing illusions in the Labour Party, and now he wants to join DC to continue his drama. He better go back to Nollywood where he belongs. May today bring us good fortune. Okay, thank you for joining. Tochukwu Chime, okay, thank you for watching from War. And then Emperado K Mwachi Mereze, okay, Mwachi Mereze says, okay, he posted from Oba. Talking about having more women in the political scene, I think there shouldn't be any special treatment here. The women should compete with men, and if they win, kudos to them. We don't have Ministry of Men Affairs, but we have that of women. I urge women to stop feeling inferior in politics and governance. Master Obe. Okay, I'm trying to get to your comment, Master Obe, so that I'll be able to acknowledge your post. So Master Obe says, good morning, moderators. Governor Chukuma Saludo. The solution is right by saying 99% of kidnapping and killing since his resumption are Igbos. Any person who is protecting criminal in his neighborhood is also a criminal. Okay, he posted from Onitsha. And these are the posts I can acknowledge now from the video that we have on our page.
All right, then, this is where we get to take down the curtain on today's edition of the show. Franklin, what would your last words be, considering everything that has been said so far and what the papers have said?
Okay, let me just talk about JAMB, and I'm just going to give only facts, and then we'll leave it at that point in time. I was talking about the cutoff. I just want to give you a rundown of how it has been since 2007 to 2008. So in 2007-2008 academic year, it was 170 as cutoff. 2008 to 2016 it was 180, so it was stable for some time,
8 years,
and we got to 2017-2018 it got to 120. We have had that in this very country. 2019-2020 160, 2021-22 140, 2022-23 140, and then 2024-25 we have a 150. And like I told you, that about during our own time you score 240, you have no space for you in a university. And it's quite a sad one.
It's a very sad one, and every day we complain about the declining state of our educational system. Well, from my end, thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. Thank you, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki, for also joining the conversation from your destination. Thank you for your calls and your contribution this morning. The Polity is going to make a return tomorrow, 9:15 to 11 a.m. Until then, do your best to become, to do your quota. Right, to get the Nigeria of your dream. I mean, do the right thing as a citizen of Nigeria, good or bad. Just do the right thing. My name is Chisom Chinedu. See you around.